समारंभां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमामस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतं वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमव्याप्तिदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। नारायणं पद्मभं वसिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च व्यासं शुकं गौडपदां महान्तो गोविन्दयोगीन्द्रमथास्य शिष्यं श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमथास्य पद्मपादं च हस्तामलकं च शिष्यं तं तोटकं वार्तिककारमन्यानस्मद्गुरुं सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि। यत् साक्षात् सच्चिदानन्दप्रत्यगद्वयं क्रीं तं नमामि दृश्यस्य योगिगम्यं परं पदं खानिलाग्नित्यनुत्रन्तं सर्वणिवद्गतं यत् भान्तच्चिदेवंस्तस्मै हरये बुद्धिसाक्षिणे। The window is open a little on the other side also. I hear the sound of Bhagirathi ji. So, hear the sound here. Okay, so 107th verse, introduction. So, before that, we look at the 106 said, न विदन्ति आत्मनः सत्तां द्रष्टुर्दर्शन गोचराः न चान्योन्यम् अतोन् अमीशां ज्ञेयत्वं भिन्न साधनम्. So, Atmana Sattam, Atma Satta, they don't know. Who don't know? Drashtu Darshana Gochara, meaning the Triputi. Drashta, Darshana, and Gochara, Drishya. They do not know Atma Satta, meaning they can't objectify Atma. And they can't know each other also. Why? Because they are Jada. Amisham Niyatvam Bhinna Sadhanam. Bhinna Sadhanam means it has to be Bhinna who knows this. That is the Sakshi. Sakshi is separate from this Drashta, Darshana, and Drishya. And that Sakshi knows the real self, meaning not as an object, but that Sakshi knows everything. The Triputi also, he knows the Triputi also, meaning via the Drashta maybe. Drashta is known, Darshana is known, which is Sakshi Bhasya. So that was the 106th verse. The 107th verse introduction says, Drashtradi Vyatirikta Atma na asmakam prasiddha iti paramatam ashankya lakshanatah tasya upapadanaya aha drashtadiriti. So there are some darshanikas who say Drashta is Atma. Atma is not separate from Drashta. So, na asmakam prasiddha, it is not well known. So you'll have to explain. Lakshanat, you'll have to explain how is it that this Sakshi that you claim is separate from Drashta. Because in other darshanas, it may not be so. Thereby, Drashtadi Vyatirikta Atma, meaning Triputi Vyatirikta Atma, asmakam, meaning in their own mata, darshanik, other darshanik's mata, it is not prasiddha. Iti paramatam ashankya. This is a different mata, not the Siddhanti's mata, obviously, paramata. Thereby what? Lakshanataha tasya upapadanaya aha drashtadiriti. Lakshanata. So you have to give clarity using lakshana. So definitions are used or something which gives you an idea of what the Sakshi is and what is Drashtadi. All this has gone by, but now pinpointed. How do you land on this? Thereby the Sambandhokti says Drashtadehe asadharana rupa jnapanaya aha. Asadharana, it should not be sadharana. So, for example, somebody says, you are talking about Devadatta and Chaitra and Maitra are talking. Chaitra says, this Devadatta is this kind of a person and already just mentioned something about Devadatta. Maitra says, who is this Devadatta? So you can't just say he is a man. It is not a asadharana rupa. It is sadharana rupa. There are many men. No, one of my relatives. Which relative? So if you want to just talk about him generally, then there's no necessity. But if you're saying, oh, do you know this person? Devadatta, do you know what Devadatta did? Then he'll ask, which Devadatta? So you have to specify asadharana, using the asadharana rupa. That lakshana should not go anywhere else. It should be avyapti, ativyapti, asambhava dosha rahita. That is the idea. So asadharana, not common to others. This is a specific devata, it will apply only to him. So thereby what? Drashtadehe asadharana rupa jnapanaya, to make that kind of a asadharana rupa characteristic known. Aha. बाह्य आकारवान ग्राह्यः ग्रहणं निश्चयादिमत् अन्वयम् अहमिति ज्ञेयः साक्षित्वात्मा ध्रुवः सदा. अन्वयी अहम, सो अन्वय्यहम् इति ज्ञेयः. बाह्यः आकारवान ग्राह्यः ग्रहणं निश्चयादिमत् अन्वयी अहम ज्ञेयः साक्षी तू आत्मा ध्रुवः sada. So if you look at this nischayadi mat, bahya akaravan grahya. What is grahya? To land on the sakshi as different from drashta, triputi has to be shown. What is triputi? So in this triputi you have the earlier 106th verse use the words drashtru, drashta. Drashtra is drashta, darshana, and gochara. Gochara is drishya. So triputi always is made up of karta, karna, and karya, or we'll say pramata, prameya, and pramana. So here also different words have been used with the same meaning. The triad should be there. So grahya is the vishaya, drishya, and grahana is the kriya, the like pramana, or not the kriya. Grahana can be kriya also, or through which you do grahana, karane vipatti karana. And nischayadi mat. So here nischayadi mat will come to again. So here grahya grahana, what remains is the drashta. Grahya is drishya vishaya. Grahana is the that which connects you there. And connects whom? So that is the nischayadi mat. One who will have that. So bahyaha akaravan. Ghatapatadi is outside bahya. Akaravan has a particular form that is called as grahya. And here grahanam, nischayadimat is mentioned. We'll come to this nischayadimat again. Anvayi aham iti jneyaha sakshi. Who is the sakshi then? Sakshi is aham iti jneyaha. Anvayi. Aham iti anvayi jneyaha. So in each of these, aham, in each and every grahya padartha also, when you're looking at it, in that buddhi, there is one aham. So aham shrunomi. Kim shrunomi? Shabdam shrunomi. Then shabda is grahya, but aham is sitting there as what? As a listener. As a shrota. Similarly, when ghata is seen, ghata becomes grahya. And then aham ghatam pashyami. So the drashta is sitting there. But in drashta also aham drashta. And then aham shrota. Aham is common to drashta and shrota, manta. For all of this, aham is common. Aham is anvayi. Drashta and drishya are separate, we know, but drashta and shrota are also separate. When I am drashta, when I think I am drashta, that drashta is not shrota. Aham is there, continuing across drashta and shrota. But drashta is not shrota, shrota is not drashta. Right? Similarly, ghata is not shabda, shabda is not ghata. Karna which are used, the grahanam is through what? If you take kriya, then darshana kriya and listening, shravana kriya, they are also different from each other. If you take the karna, then the shrotrendriya and darshana indriya, chakshurindriya. So chakshurindriya and shrotrendriya are also different from each other. But this nischayadi mat, if you look at it, this grahanam can also be nischayadi mat. That which helps you land on the object. So grahanam, lakshana can be grahanam nischayadi mat. Drashta is missing here, but here says Anvayi Ahamiti Jneyah Sakshi. That Sakshi is separate from all three. And who is that? That is Atma. And Sada Dhruvaha, unchanging, Dhruvaha, unmoved, Stira ityartha. So with Nishchayadimat, Grahanam Nishchayadimat you can take, or you can take Nishchayadimat as one who has this Nishchaya, because Grahanam cannot have Nishchaya, Matu Pratyaya is there. So by this you can do, take the one who Grahana Karta. So Grahita. So this Grahita Nishchayadimat, but Lakshana is there, therefore Grahanam and Nishchayadimat could be in Samanadikaran, but that does not appear so, because Grahanam cannot be Nishchayadimat. You need Chetana there. Drashta is not Chetana, but still with Drashta there is an Aham Anvaya. With Grahanam Grahya there is no Aham Anvaya. Aham does not have Tadatmya Sambandha with Grahya Padartha or Grahana. When Grahya is Ahankara, then there is a Sambandha, Tadatmya Sambandha, whereby that becomes Drashta, Grahita, and thereby Nishchayadimat. So basic idea is what? Bahya Padartha, which is separate from me, and outward towards whichever direction you go, it is all out from the Pratyagatma. But outside of the Triputi, if you look at it, Triputi is made up of Indriyas also. Therefore, you have to go away from the Sukshma Sharira. That is Bahya Akaravan. So Bahya is with Akara, and that is called as Grahya. Then Grahanam, then Grahana can also be with, which helps you make Nishchaya, but cannot be called as Nishchayadi Mat in my opinion. Therefore, I'll take Grahita with that. And then you have Triputi. Outside is what? Outside that Triputi also, the Vishaya. Vishaya outside the Sharira, not the Triputi, because Grahya will become the part of the Triputi. So Grahya is Vishaya. So with these three, you can take Triputi, Grahya, Grahita, and Grahana. And in all of this, there is an Anvayi Aham. Aham should be known as Sakshi. Here the idea is not to give Lakshana of others. Drashtradehe asadharana rupa, but you have to land on Sakshi to show that Drashta and Sakshi are different. This is the idea. Aham iti Anvayi. So we'll see what the Tikakara does. Here the Anvaya would be what? Bahya Akaravan Grahya bhavati, Grahanam Nishchayadi Mat, and then Ahamiti Anvayi Sakshi Jneyah, and then Sakshi Atma Jneyah. So it's Saha, you have to add Ahamiti Sakshi, or you can say make a single Anvaya itself. Ahamiti Anvayi Sadadruha Atma Sakshi iti Jneyah. So Aham iti has gone earlier. So here second line Anvaya is what? Aham iti Anvayi Dhruvaha Sadadruvaha Atma Sakshi Jneyah. So two can go earlier. So Aham iti Sakshi, Aham iti tu, or Aham iti tu, yeah, Aham iti tu, because iti will go with Aham. You can't say Aham tu iti. Aham iti tu Sadadruha Atma Sakshi Jneyah. One should know Sakshi is separate from all of these. Drashtadihi Vyatirikta Atma na smakam prasideti paramatam ashankya lakshanatah tasya upapadanaya, tasya only singular has been used. Tasya kasya Atmanah. Although the Moolakara says Drashtadehe, here Tikakara says Tasya Atmana. So Sakshi Lakshana is given. Others, this Grahya is said to be a Bahya Akaravan, one which is outside and outward and which has a form. That is called as Grahya. But then Grahana and Nishchayadimat, you don't see the Grahana and Grahita Lakshana. That is not needed. What is needed is Sakshi Lakshana. That is the focus area. Other things have been dealt with earlier. Because, see, the reason is that we want to show the Grahya. In the Grahya Koti, Drashta also is Grahya by Sakshi. Sakshi Bhasya. So we don't need to give Lakshana for everything. All those are understood. Here we want to show that Drashta is also Grahya. So we can show it that way. Drashta is also Grahya. In Triputi, Drashta is also Grahya. That is also another way to see. But here we'll see what is done with Lakshana in the Tika. When the Tikakara read something more. Bahya, what is Bahya? Parag Bhuta. Atma is Pratyak Bhuta, inward. You go inward and further from which you cannot go within cognitively. That is my real Swarupa, Pratyagatma. What is Bahya? Bahya is you go outward from this Atma, anything outward, based on your reference point. So here the reference point is what Parag Bhuta says, Akaravan. Akaravan. So whichever can have an Akara, before that everything can become reference point. Outside of that is all called as Parag Bhutaha Grahya. So Akaravan, like what? What is Akaravan? That which has form. So what has form? Here he says, Pruthu Budna Udaradi. Budna. Pruthu Budna Udaratvadi Dharmavan. Basically, I'll not go into each words. What it means is that each of the word, what it means is that how will you look at a form? Basically, the width, the depth, length, etc., height, whatever is Adipadena, you can include there. So, Pruthu, Budna, and Udara mean that which will give you the geometry. Basically, what will give you is geometry. So, length, width, depth, all of that. So that will be, and if you are, based on what you are measuring, how you are measuring, it can mean height also, all of that. So that kind of dharma, guna, those kind of gunas, that which has these kind of gunas, it is called as akara, akaravan. Anvayi ahamiti. When you say anvayi aham pashyami, aham shrunomi, aham smarami, iti cha darshanat. Iti cha darshanach श्रवणादिषु व्यभिचारेषु यः प्रत्यभिज्ञया एकत्वेन अनुसन्धीयते सः अयं ग्रहीता साक्षी. सहम ग्रहीता साक्षी. So here I said nischayadimat. See, the idea is the grahita can be taken in two ways, right? One is what? Grahya Granam Nishchadimat Grahita. Who is that Grahita? This Grahita is the Triputi Antargata Grahita. How so? Grahya and Grahana have been used, so Grahita with the same dhatu we have used. But Grahya, Grahana are all particular. Every Grahya is not Grahana Yogya through each and every Grahana, with every Grahana. So Grahya Rupa can be known only through which kind of Grahana Indriya? Only Chakshur Indriya. But Grahya Shabda with Grahana which is Shrotra Indriya. What about Grahya Rasa through Grahana which is Rasana Indriya? So this is clear. But Nishchayadimat here, Grahita is also going to change this Grahita who is part of Triputi. That Grahita will become Drashta when the Grahya is Vishaya through the Indriyas, which is Rupa through Chakshur Indriya. Then Grahita becomes Drashta. When the Vishaya is Shabda, then the Grahana Yogyatvam is not in Chakshur Indriya or other Indriyas, it's only in Shrotra Indriya. Therefore, this Grahita now is not general Grahita. He is Vishesha Shrota. So we know this. So thereby, Grahita will change when he is connected to the Grahya with the Grahana. Connected in the sense who is grasping it through the Indriyas. He is connected as a Grahana Karta, Grahita. So that Grahita is part of the Triputi. But this Anvayaham, that Anvayaham is separate. Why? Because Grahita, although Grahita is there in Grahya, Grahanam, etc., that Grahita himself changes, becomes Drashta, becomes Shrota, Manta, Ityadi. However, this Aham Anvayi is continued. Aham Drashta, Aham Shrota, Aham Manta. There, Aham is common. Drashta, Shrota, Manta are different. Just like Grahya, Ghata and Pata are different. Ghata, Pata are not interchangeable. Chakshurindriya, Shabdadi Indriya, Shrotradi Indriya are not interchangeable. Similarly, Drashta and Shrotradi are not interchangeable. Shrot, thereby, who is common? Aham is common. This aham is separate from that drashta also, shrota also, manta also. That anvayi aham, he is anvayi. Others have vyatireka. This aham does not have vyatireka. Aham is dhruva, sada dhruva, that atma, which gets connected and takes the upadhi of the drashta, shrota, manta ityadi. Right? So here Tikakara says Grahita you know already know, but what Grahita Siddhanti says to the Purva Paksha which says Nasmakam Prasiddha Drashtradi Vyatirikta Atma. So Grahya and Grahana Vyatireka is not doubted by them also. But we say for the Sakshi everything is Grahya. Bhasya rather, not Grahya, Bhasya. The Bharupa, Prakasha Rupa, Sakshi has everything as Prakashya Bhasya, where Drashta, Manta, Shrota are also included, Sakshi Bhasyatvena. So here he says this Grahita Sakshi, who is this Grahita Sakshi? He is separate not only from the Grahya and Grahana, but also from the real Grahita, who real Grahita in the sense, not the real Grahita, I'll say the Mithya Grahita, not real Grahita, I'll say Grahita who is part of the Triputi, who changes. The Grahita who is unchanging is separate from the Grahita who is changing. That's the idea. So Grahita who becomes Drashta sometimes Ekapatri. So Ekapatri means the one-man act. You know, one actor plays multiple roles. So becomes drashta, becomes shrota, becomes manta. There the anvaya is of the actor. The actor who is playing the role, he becomes the king and the, you know, let's say the beggar who is gone to the king becomes that. So king is very rich, beggar has no money. Both roles are played. They don't know each other in the role who is played by the beggar. The beggar is not the king. The king is not the beggar when you look at the role. But within the role, there is this actor. So for the king, looking at the king, you look at the king's lifestyle, you are happy. You look at the beggar's lifestyle, you shed tears. But the actor is making money in both. The actor is happy. Why? He is happy all the way. Ananda Swarupa. He says that whether you like the role of the king or like the role of the beggar, the credit goes to me. So if the award will be given, the award will be given to whom? If you say for the role of the beggar, he did better, so he'll get the role. Same actor will get the benefit of it. So this Sakshi is the one who is free from all of these upadhis. Drashta, Manta, Shrota, they are different from each other. The beggar there, in that role, he cannot give the order of the king. Nobody will listen to him. They'll throw him out. They'll put him behind bars. The king, it is shameful for him to go out on the street and beg. So they have to play their roles. Drashta cannot become Shrota. Shrota cannot become Drashta. They don't even know each other. The example is only thus far. Drashta, Shrota are not interchangeable there. But the Sakshi within is one who is Anvayi Aham. So here it is said, Grahita Sakshi Punaha Esham Trayanam. Sorry, I didn't explain the earlier. So Anvayi Aham. This Anvayi Aham, Aham Pashyami, Aham Shrunomi. This Aham is common across Pashyami Kriya. For whom? For Drashta. Shrunomi Aham. Their Aham is common with the Shravana Kriya Karta who is Shrota. Their Aham is there. Smarami iti aham smarami. So aham pashyami, aham shrunomi, aham smarami. That aham is common across all this. Smarami, I recollect something. So in the smarana kriya, this aham is sitting there as what? Smarta. So if you look at this, aham is common across all, but drashta, shrota and manta are all separate. And then aham pashyami, aham shrunomi, aham smarami iti cha darshanat cha Shravanadishu, and because it is seen, Darshanat meaning it is known. Darshanat means this is Anubhava Siddha even to the others for whom it is not Prasiddha. So we have to just show it to them as to how it became Prasiddha for us. Something which is not Prasiddha, let's say somebody, has, they say, 2 minutes of fame. So not really fame. Somewhere, one hit wonder, you say some particular song or something becomes famous and then fades away in time. How will that become famous, that entity? Over and over and over, you know, uh, the act continues. Act or different acts continue. He's right in your face, he or she, whoever, or somewhere in the news which is continuous, or somewhere in the vicinity people talk about it. So prasiddhi is over and over and over it happens, it becomes prasiddha. So Siddhanti says, how did it become prasiddha for us? By analysis. So we'll show you the analysis. You'll also need. So it will become prakarshana siddha. What is prasiddha? Prasiddha is what? Siddha. Siddha through sadhana. And over you think about it, it will become prasiddha. So Siddhanti says, if you nasmakam prasiddha, Siddhanti says, aham pashyami is not prasiddha for you. It is. He says, yeah, I know. Aham shrunami is not prasiddha. Prasiddha. Separately they are prasiddha. You have not put them together. That's all. Aham smarami is not prasiddha. Okay. Now we ask you, this pashyami, shrunomi, smarami are the same kriyas? He says, no. Okay, same indriyas are used. He says, no. Are the same vishayas are there? No. They are separate. So what is common? Is aham common or not? So does the drashta see? Yes. Does the drashta hear? No. Does the shrota hear? Yes. Does the shrota see? No. So they are also different. Is aham separate in any of these? No. So with Anvaya Vyatireka, you see, Grahya is separate, Grahana is separate, Grahita is separate, but the aham in that Grahita is Anvayi. They are Vyatireki with each other, but aham is Anvayi with respect to everything. That Anvayi is Sakshi separate from Grahita. So how is it not Prasiddha? You just don't know. So, for example, I am sitting here, some news goes on. If I don't know anything, I don't open news. They say it is very famous. This person is famous. I say, I don't know. I don't know. So you give me a name. If I have heard it also, who is this? Is it an actor or a singer? I don't know. May not know. So if it is pointed out, this is same person. Then so here he says, aham pashyami, aham shrunami, aham smarami, iti cha darshana cha shravanadishu vyabhicharishu. They are vyabhichari. With respect to each other, the grahana is also vyabhichari. Grahya is anyway vyabhichari, but grahita is also vyabhichari. Which grahita? Drashta shruta manta. But the grahita that is sitting behind, for whose purpose the drashta comes up, shruta comes up, that sakshi, or not whose purpose really, it does not have any purpose, but in whose presence, so I should clarify, because that Atma does not care for anything, does not know anything, does not care to know anything specific really. There is no purpose to serve, just Swabhava. So here he says, Shravanadishu Vyabicharishu Yaha Pratyabhijnaya Ekatvena Anusandhiyate, who, while being connected with Drashta, knows that I am the same entity, who was Shrota earlier, and when he looks again or hears again, he knows I am the same entity. From childhood he knows, from young age he knows, from old age he knows all the way that I am the same entity. This is Pratyabhijnaya. So Pratyabhijnaya, yah ekatvena anusandhete. Ekatvena. Not that I was a different person then, not that person. I am the same entity who was a different person then and who is a different person now, but I am the same entity. Right? Saha ayam that grahita is Sakshi. Not your grahita who you think is, you know, is one with that. You have only one grahita. We have two grahitas. One is Mithya grahita, who takes the upadhi as Visheshana. Or upadhi becomes Visheshana and that upadhi krita grahita. But this grahita that we are talking about sitting behind, who makes that grahita, is the Sakshi. Punah esham trayana, the Triputi antargata, grahya, grahana and grahita. Trayanam bhava abhava sadhakaha. He is the one who is a sadhaka of bhava abhava. He is the one who will make any of these three come up or disappear. How? By connecting or disconnecting, that's all. Mithya sambandha, if it is there, then they come to life, bhava. If that mithya sambandha is cut by jnana, then abhava sadhaka. They'll become tuchha, really. Mithyatvena, through that step, then tuchha only. Because ekameva advitiya brahma atma. So, punah esham trayanam, this sakshi is what? Bhava abhava sadhaka. Trayanam api bhava abhava sadhaka. Pramata, prameya and pramana. Sushupta kaivalyadishu anvayi. This aham, sakshi, is anvayi across three avasthas also. We know this. Anvayi. But in Sushupti, not there. If someone says, in Sushupti, I am not there. Where do you have aham in Sushupti? Siddhanti says this sakshi may not manifest as aham, but he is there. How do you know? By waking up. You don't say somebody else slept or I who. The absence of I slept. I don't know who slept. These are not the statements you make. What do you say? Aham is still there. I slept. I slept happily. Sukhamam aswapsam. Sukham is adverbial. Sukhena aswapam aham. So you are recollecting. So there is a pratyabhijna there. I am the same entity who went to sleep, who had happiness in sleep, didn't know anything else, saw darkness, woke up fresh and were waking up fresh now. I am the same entity. So in Sushupta Kala also is there. Sushupta Avastha. And Kaivalya also. Kaivalya is what? Is Samadhi you can take. Kaivalya Adi Padina. Kaivalya is Samadhi. Kevalam. Kaivalya Pada. In Yoga Shastra, Chaturtha Pada is what? Kaivalya Pada. So Kaivalya Adishu Anvayi continues as the same unchanging entity. Continues in the sense never had a break. It is not a continuing after a break. You know, one episode, then after a break, another episode. It is not like that. One Kriya, break, another Kriya. No, continuous, not continues in a sense after a break, who never ceases to be. That is the Anvayi. Kutastha Nitya, that's why if you have a doubt, Nitya, what kind of Nitya? Kutastha Nitya, not Parinami Nitya. Apekshika Nityatvam otherwise. There is a Apekshika Nityatvam, not that kind of a thing, neither Parinami Nityatvam. Maya is Nitya, always there, but Parinami Nitya, Mithya and Parinami Nitya. Maya undergoes change. Undergoes change, but still Nitya. Always been there, as long as Ajnana is there. Ajnana only, Ajnana is there, means Ajnana, Maya are interchangeable. When the Ajnana is effective for the Jiva, so long Maya is continuing as Satya. Therefore, although there is Parinama across Kalpas also, it is still there. Here, Kutastha Nitya, Kutavattishtati, real Nitya. Paraihi api balad abhyupeya. Siddhanti says, if you know all this, aham pashyami, aham shrunomi ityadi, when I point it out, you may not have accepted earlier, you may not have known it earlier. But now that I show you that you have this anubhava, you have this pratyabhijna also, in Sushupta Kaivalya also it is there. You may not have Kaivalya anubhava, may or may not. But do you have Sushupti anubhava? You analyze that. Aren't you there? That aham, is it the same as drashta, shruta, manta in Jagrata Avastha or in Swapna Avastha? No. Thereby, Anvayi aham is definitely separate from that grahita in the Triputi, thereby paraihi api balad abhyupeya. So take it with a pinch of salt or a lot of salt, but you have to accept it. You have to accept it. That is balad abhyupeya. No, I won't accept. You have to accept. Otherwise, you are not being logical. You have to accept. Won't work. You can keep on saying no, but it is hatha. Hatha. You may be hatha yogi, but it will not. That hatha yoga will not work with with tarka. In tarka, no. Let's agree to disagree. Yes, you can agree to disagree because you don't have any logic. If you give any tarka which traces to the shastra, see, I don't agree is not tarka. I don't agree. Why you have to show? Somebody said, no, I don't have this anubhava in Sushupti. You can't argue. Okay, we have to fold our hands and say, it was nice talking to you. I don't wish to talk anymore. I'd rather go in Kaivalya or Sushupti, but I don't want to talk to you. That's all you can say. Because if they're in denial of anubhava, you can't do anything. It may be a fact also, meaning fact also in the sense that they think so. It may be that they think that their anubhava is not exactly like this. Although Shastra says it, this is because Shastra says it, you have to accept. No, Shastra is using Shushupti not as an example to show something that happens in which is Paroksha. Shushupti Anubhava is for everyone. Shastra is giving you your Anubhava, and then you say, no, how can you talk about my Anubhava? I don't have this Anubhava. So there, even Bhagavan can't help you in that scenario, right? So if it happens, there are people who will argue. Like, for example, somebody argued with me long back. See, there are these who know these computer programs, right? So, or you take laptop, known to everyone. Say, let's say laptop, okay? Let's say you are very sleepy. You are doing something, very sleepy at night. You have opened up so many windows, so many tasks are going on. You are multitasking, and you are slow, sleepy. You can't continue, but you don't want to save everything and then continue next day. What do? You just close your lid. It goes to sleep. It remembers the state. You also go to sleep. You remember the state. Okay. Now somebody says, what is the difference? Laptop remembers the state. You also remember the state. So what is the difference between you and that laptop? Why should you say that aham continues in you and in the laptop it is not there? Why can't you be like laptop? Meaning Bhagwan has created whatever Bhagwan, whether they agree or not, you are like laptop, like a program. What happens next day when you freshen up and you say, yes, now I'll continue. I have put things together. I'll continue from yesterday's tasks. So you open your laptop lid and you see all of these windows, you log in, everything comes up as it is. How does the program know where to continue from? Somebody may ask. Somebody asked me, just like a program, what does it do? So technically, what does it do? It will have saved some information. This is the what is called a state machine. So this is the state. Then when it wakes up, the program runs. It does not know what happened yesterday and what has to happen now. It has absolutely no idea, obviously. So that program, what it does, it refers to the memory. It refers to the memory where the last state, it is programmed like that. So it will just go. It was not there. Did the battery run? No. Did the program run? No. If the program had run, battery would have run. So let's say even if you switch off the power, it is not charging. Your laptop, let's say it goes for 3 hours. My laptop goes for 1.5 hours. Let's say your laptop runs for 3 hours. It would have drained in the morning, right? But the battery is still there. Maybe trickle charging, trickle leaks, but it is in sleep mode, just ticking, keeping it alive. So what happened? So you can say that the battery was not consumed, meaning the laptop, the core was not there. Core was not functional. Program was not functional. What happened then? So it woke up. It knew where to look up. It looked up everything. It brought back to memory. And then what? Then continue. So why can't your state also be, state machine? Everything went into memory. You wake up, you take it back from the memory. Why can't it be so? Very interesting question. Valid also. Somebody may have this doubt. We can't deny. You can't say, no, no, why such doubt? Shraddha Swa. You can't say that. Have Shraddha. You can't just impose some blind faith on that entity. This is a matter of analysis. So you have to inquire into. So what happens? What is the difference? You have to find out the difference between the two and then establish it. So what is the difference? The laptop does not know what is happening. It comes up and opens up everything. Program is there, all right, I agree. Program looked up into the reference there. But the core does not know what is happening. The core does not tell you that this is all what I did. If you ask what all happened, if today's day you can ask an AI, what all happened during the night? What will the AI say? I was not there. The AI was not functional. The AI will talk to you as I. So, I looked up. So, in the real life scenario, AI today, I'll tell you what happens. I was talking to someone, not on this context, but AI context. It is interesting to know to understand our example. See, what happens is that AIs are actually, many companies are going in loss. What they do is that they give you a lot of things for free or for subscription, but you sequence all of these requests, they sequence and prioritize also based on who has paid and all that, and they give you that GPU, the processor, the entire AI engine. In the memory, it will last only for a certain amount of time. After that, it will check out that and bring in another and keep on this round robin. It is called round robin. So they'll keep on doing it. The reason I say this is because the AI does not have anything more behind. It does not continuously work on each task, right? So the tasks are separated out, whether it sleeps or not, it is going across different programs. However, when you bring it back the next morning and say, what happened? It says nothing happened. It will look up. It has something called a brain. It will look up the folder. It will look up what all happened. It will have stored the state and then bring it back. So it is not alive there. Alive in the sense it is not running there at that point of time. But you are. During the Sushupti, you are. Why? If you are not there, you are not running, but you are. You are there. The AI is not there for you at night when you just shut it down. But you are still there. In sleep, you exist. Why? Because you are not only programmed to look up what to look up. You say that I slept happily. It is not that I wasn't there. I wasn't there. I just look up and recall. It is not that. Pratyabhijna is more than Smriti. AI just has Smriti to look up. Pratyabhijna is something else. Pratyabhijna is a lot more than Smriti. It knows that I am that. Of course, AI mimics that Pratyabhijna. How? I recall you said this last night because I deal with AI with the web page for audio rendering and all that. I got some program done with that. So it says segmentation and all that. So it says, yeah, I know, I remember what all you said. So I remember in sense I recollect from the memory. Sometimes it can't find because it will have forgotten all that. It will have flushed the systems of memory and I'll lose everything. So I have to tell it, you remember the state. Otherwise, it will start asking you new questions because it has absolutely no memory. It will clear all that. It will not carry all that black law unless you tell it specifically, you store this. So it does not know, but you know that I slept happily, that anubhava, which I am there. Not only chetana, achetana difference. Not only that, but the anubhava of ananda is there. That anubhava you cannot deny. If you are in denial, then inquiry is pending. You can't be in denial. In fact, I have argued with two people as to why this anubhava should be there. The only thing that you have to tell the person is, what is the argument? Their argument. They say that Sushupti is lack of ananda. It is not ananda. It is lack of dukkha. So you cannot say there is positive ananda. Their argument is, it's a valid question. You say I have ananda and dukkha abhava. What is the difference? So their argument is there is no positive anubhava of ananda. Sukhamam aswapsam. I don't say that, you may say. One may say I don't say that. Did you sleep well? Why do you say yes then? I slept. I don't know whether it was well or not. That's what you should say. Did you sleep well? To any person, if you ask, will they or will they not know that they slept well or not? That is anubhava. How can you deny that? That I slept well, just have to say I slept. What is this well and not well? Makes no sense. That question should be invalidated by them. Do they invalidate the question? No. So how can you say that I have no anubhava? The anubhava of not knowing anything is an anubhava. The anubhava of sleeping well or not sleeping well is an anubhava. You cannot deny anubhava. I don't have this anubhava. The claim is what? There is a dukkha abhava. Abhava is not objectified in that manner. In Vedanta, not unlike Tarkikas, Abhava is not objectified. Then what about Anupalabdhi Pramana? Anupalabdhi Pramana works very differently. It is Adhishthana Jnana. When I say Ghataha Atra Nasti, Bhutale Ghato Nasti, that is the Anubhava of the Bhutala. Adhikarana. Abhava is Adhikarana Rupa. For us, what is Abhava? Abhava cannot be objectified. Ghata abhava kim rupa? Asmakam mate, Vedantina mate, ghata abhava kim rupa? Tarkikas will say this kind of an abhava, that kind of abhava. No. For us, ghata abhava kim rupa, we say adhishthana rupa. Ghata abhava means what? Bhutala is there. If ghata is there, you cannot see bhutala there. If you place a cloth, let's say asana, on that you place the murti. If you remove the murti for abhisheka ityadi, you can see the asana. You don't see murti abhava. You see asana there. That is the adhishthana rupa. There is, we'll say yes, there is murti abhava there. That murti abhava is not, I am not seeing abhava. I am seeing anupalabdhi is what? It is not seen. Why? Not abhava is seen, but I know by adhishthana. Had it been there, there wouldn't have been adhishthana, which is visible. I hope this is making sense as to how dukkha abhava and ananda are not one and the same. So, Purva Pakshi who says there is dukkha abhava in Sushupti and Siddhanti claims there is ananda anubhava, one has to really inquire. Otherwise, you should not say if dukkha abhava is there, the statement itself is invalidated. Dukkha abhava is. Abhava is contradictory. There is abhava. We use that language, but if you inquire into it, abhava being there is not acceptable. If at all you say, okay, I still make a claim, no, I am just in vyavahara, I am saying there is abhava. How do you know dukkha abhava? How do you know dukkha abhava? You have to be there. Now, if you know dukkha abhava, that dukkha is attributed to something else. So, we can still establish Ananda Rupa. See, what is this objection for? Atma is not Ananda Rupa. I don't think so. But if you have Shraddha, then because the Shruti says that Atma is Ananda Rupa, you have to accept it. I say no. Why not? It is not Shruti saying Ananda Rupa you are, but you have your Anubhava of Ananda. So the person should be asked. Person in a sense, if you also have these thoughts, you inquire into this. If you think that there is dukkha abhava in Sushupti, let's hypothetically accept that. I am establishing Ananda Rupa Atma, okay? Let's say you say there is no Ananda Anubhuti in Sushupti Avastha, that is not your Anubhava, Sukhamam Aswapsam. Then what is the Anubhava? In the Sushupti, there is no dukkha, meaning dukkha abhava is there. So you are not disagreeing that you are there. What are you disagreeing now? Oh, I am there. I was there in Sushupti, but I didn't have Ananda. So we are establishing Ananda Rupa Atman. Satta cannot be denied. Satta is not being denied now, okay? Not that program thing, but Ananda Rupa is being denied. So when Ananda Rupa is being denied, all you have to ask is Dukkha Bhava is there. So what do you mean by Dukkha Bhava now? Where did the Dukkha come from? In Swapna, nightmares, or in Jagrata Avastha, living nightmares. Okay, it's a living nightmare, all the samsara. So that caused dukkha, right? Do you agree that the dukkha has come from grahya padartha, bahya, paragbhuta, akaravan, all of those? It came from those. Yes, you agree. The person has to agree. Dukkha is incidental from outside. Right? Now we say in Sushupti, dukkha bhava is there. Right? And you say Sukha Bhava is also there. Where did the Sukha come from? Now, if you have attributed Dukkha to Vishaya, Where did the sukha come from? Where did the sukha come from? So sukha is also incidental, you have to say. If the sukha is incidental, dukkha is incidental, it is not in the Vishaya, because everyone does not have the same sukha experience. Sukha is there, don't have same experience. Everyone does not have the same sukha experience with the same Vishaya. Right? Now we ask you, where did the sukha come from? Where did the sukha come from? Because what you are saying is there is dukkha abhava in Sushupti. You are not saying sukha abhava. Had you said sukha abhava, then you would have been completely neutral. When you wake up, then you will not have freshness. Dukkha, see, sukha abhava cannot bring you freshness. Dukkha abhava can bring you freshness. So you have to say that there is dukkha abhava. And there is sukha anubhava in the Jagrat Avastha or in Swapna Avastha. Where does this sukha come from? There is no other source. So it has to be, with Arthapatti Pramana, it has to be from your own Swarupa. So even if you don't think you have Sukha Anubhava in Sushupti, it has to be there. So therefore, Baladabhyupeya here, coming back to the context, Parairapi Baladabhyupeya, there is Adi is Kaivalyadi, Sushupti Kaivalyadishu Anvai. Here only Bhava Abhava Sadhaka, separate Sakshi has to be accepted. That Sakshi is Ananda Rupa. Although there is no context of this, to establish Satta, I also use Ananda because the confusion is not in Satta really. For Vedantins, because our focus is not to argue with someone else. For Vedantis alone, the Ananda Swarupa Atma is most difficult to understand. So here, Shushuk, that's why Shruti does not say, I say it, you have to accept it. Shruti says, your Anubhava is there, you inquire into this Anubhava. The inquiry is lacking, it is not complete. A person is in denial. Why is, it's veiled. It's veiled so much that the buddhi does not work in that area. You are adamant because it can also be ego that I have pre-concluded, I want to establish it. Some things cannot be explained by tarka. I have tried, but I may have failed to see that, sukha, somebody may say, no, sukha abhava, dukkha abhava, both are there. Not only dukkha abhava. So you cannot establish that Atma is Sukha Swarupa there. Shruti has used the Anubhava. If you say, I don't have Anubhava, what can you do? In my experience. So we start the sentence, many sentences. In my experience, it is like this. So you can't deny that person. So you have to say the person thinks so or is lying. So we give benefit of doubt that the person is not lying. Then what is it? Thinking is like that. It can't be changed. The belief is like that. It is that belief is blind belief. It is without inquiry. This is my opinion there. So anyway, Sakshi Punah Esham Trayanam Bhava Abhava Sadhakaha Shushupta Kaivalyadishu Anvayi Kutastha Nitya Parairapi Baladabhyupeyaha. Anyatha what? No, I don't accept. Still. Anyatha Drashtadehe Asiddhi iti Bhavaha. Drashtadi themselves will become Asiddha. Why? Where they are Jada. How will you establish Drashtadi? Who establishes Drashtadi? Without the Sakshi, Satta Rupa, Prakasha Rupa being there, how will you establish Drashtadi? It cannot be established. This is the 107th verse. Further in the 108th introduction. Introduction, 3 pages of commentary. So here you have Sakshitvena Asamsaritvam Atmanaha Prasaritam iti aha. He said not Prasiddha, Siddhanti says Prasaritam. Now we have established. He says it is not well known. He says now we have established. It is made known. Prasaritam. What? Sakshitvena Asamsaritvam Atmanaha. Atma is asamsari. Kutastha Nitya cannot be samsari. So thereby Siddhanti says Sarvakaraketi. Mula Sarvakaraka Kriyaphala Vibhaga Atmaka Samsara Shunyaha Atma Iti Karaka Kriyaphala Vibhaga Sakshitvad Atmanaha Tadaha. See, Hetu is given. Karaka Kriyaphala Vibhaga Sakshitvad Atmana. Atma is what? Karaka Kriya Phala Vibhaga Sakshi. The division of Karaka Kriya and Phala. well-known words. So kartrukaraka, karmakaraka, karnakaraka ityadi. Kriya, various shravana kriya, darshana kriya ityadi. So in karaka also what drashta, shrota, manta. Phala is what? Darshana. Darshana kriya also. Phala is what? Rupa darshana, shabda shravana ityadi. All of these. There is a vibhaga between these. So triputi vibhaga and every other type of vibhaga. Phala is separate from it. So karaka kriya phala vibhaga sakshi is atma. That becomes hetu. Because atma is sakshi, sakshi and sakshya have to be separate. See, if you look at it, grahya, grahana, grahita. For all three, sakshi has been shown to be different. So what does it mean now? All three are sakshya. Atma there is grahita. Sakshi is so shown as grahita of the grahya, grahana, grahita also. The pramata. Therefore, that pramata is also grahya now. How grahya? Sakshya ityartha. If you call the sakshya as grahita, then the pramata grahita is grahya only, not grahita. Our idea is to show that all of these are object for the Atma, including the subject, drashta, shrota, manta. They are all sakshya, witnessed. So since they are all witnessed and I am the real witness, the real Atma, Pratyagatma, Aham Brahmatma is the witness. Therefore, they are not two. They are not, both are not one. Therefore, they are not one. They are not one. Then who is the samsari now? See, drashta, who does darshana of says setu darshana will bring punya, right? Guru darshana, Ishvara darshana, the Ishta Devata darshana, ityadi darshana is a murti also, you can say. Tirtha kshetra, gamana and then darshana will bring punya. Then Nishiddha darshana will bring papa. Similarly, Shravana, you listen to, Vishnu Sahasranamadi ityadi, Swashaka, Dhyan ityadi, all the Shravana will bring punya. Even Vyakarana Sutra Shravana will bring punya. See, why the audio creation? Because Sanskrita Shravana will bring punya. Those who don't have Adhikara in Abhyasa, they can listen to Vyakarana Sutras also. Those who do not have Adhikara in Veda Shravana can listen to Vyakarana Sutras Ashtadhyay, which will bring punya. Some listening to something, where you don't have Adhikara will bring papa. So like, you are passing by and somebody is saying something, kaan laga ke sun lo kya bol rahe. So you listen to them, you eavesdrop, papa karma. So similarly, each of these darshana, shravana ityadi, there is punya papa vibhaga. So drashta, shrota, manta, these all depending on what one thinks, recollects ityadi, punya papa, all of these system is there. Ghana karmanogati. How it works, we too complex to understand, but we broadly understand something which is, that's why dharma shastra is pramana for dharma. Nothing else can tell you that, oh, my conscience is in the right place. I don't have any issue. I can sleep well at night. Is not a pramana. Even a thief can sleep at night. A daylight robber can also sleep at night. Does not make it dharma. His conscience allows it. No, it won't allow. I think with my conscience, I think that the other's conscience does not. See, his conscience is corrupted, you can say, but it does allow. Otherwise, we cannot become animals in another janma also. Because something that is applicable to humans need not be applicable to animals. Something which is applicable to a particular human is not applicable to another. Need not be. So I cannot say that because I think so, others also think so. No. I may think something bad, the other may not ever have such a thought. I may have such a passing thought, or I may, indulge in such thinking. And vice versa. Some good things I do, my conscience allows me, something it doesn't allow. It does not mean that for others it allows or does not allow. Same things. Therefore, conscience is not pramana. What is pramana? Dharma. For dharma, shastra is pramana. So here, when you say karaka kriya phala vibhaga sakshi I am, then I am not drashta, shrota, manta to get punya or papa. So who is getting punya or papa? The drashta gets punya or papa Shrota gets punya or papa, Manta gets punya or papa, and one who is Sakshi of that, how will he get punya or papa? That Sakshi, because he is Sakshi, Karaka Kriya Phala Vibhaga Sakshitwad Eva Atmana, that Atma being so, is what? Sarva Karaka Kriya Phala Vibhaga Atmaka Samsara Shunya. This is the reason that Sansaritvam is not applicable to Atma. Because Drashta is Samsari, Shrota is Samsari, Manta is Samsari. But Atma who is Sakshi, Sakshitvat eva Samsara Shunya. And what is, pray tell, what is this Samsara? He says, don't you know? Sarvakaraka Kriya Phala Vibhaga Atmaka. Atma is Swarupam. Sarvakaraka Kriya Phala Vibhagaha. Or Vibhaga singular also. Swarupam Yasya Samsarasya. Samsara has only this. This is the Swarupa, Swabhava of Samsara. Sarvakaraka Kriya Phala Vibhaga. And that kind of Samsara is not there in this Atma. This Atma is such Samsara Shunya. Why? Sakshitva. Thereby the 108th verse is introduced. The verse we'll see in the next part. Yasakshat Satchidanandam Pratyagadvema Kriyam Tannamami Rusyasya Yogi Gabnyam Param Padam. We talked about Sukha, always this the Mangalacharana of Ratnaprabha for Brahma Sutra Bhashya comes to mind. So Sukham, that comes to mind. So I have to think which Mangalacharana. Okay, Namaste Narayana. I'll see you in the next part.
Namaste.